This is the video for the test 1 review, questions 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So question 21 gives us an equation with a radical sign. So to solve this equation, the first thing that I would do is square both sides, because what that does is that'll take this radical sign out of there. So I get y minus 1 squared equals negative 29 plus 9y. To square this, I would need to write it twice and then FOIL. So y times y is y squared, y times negative 1 is minus y plus 1 equals negative 29 plus 9y. Then I would combine like terms, y squared minus 2y plus 1 equals negative 29 plus 9y. So this equation is quadratic because my highest power is squared, and I need to have everything on one side with 0 on the other. So I'm going to subtract the 9y, and I'll get y squared minus 11y plus 1 equals negative 29. And then I'm going to add the 29. So y squared minus 11y plus 30 equals 0. So you are welcome to use the quadratic formula if you feel more comfortable with that, or you could factor this. So y minus 6, y minus 5. Negative 6 times negative 5 is positive 30. Negative 6 minus 5 is negative 11. If I set each of those equal to 0, I get y equals 6 or y equals 5. So I have two answers. I would encourage you to go back and plug each answer in individually to make sure that it actually works in the equation. In this case, the 6 does work and the 5 does work as well. So both answers are valid. All right, question 22 is pretty simple. I think they're just, I mean, this is like a review. Maybe they just want you to practice with the ALEKS tool, but they want me to plot the point negative 1, 3. So remember that the first number is in the x direction, and the second one is in the y direction. So negative 1, 3 would be right there. Okay? Question 23 wants me to find the slope, and they've given me 2 points twice, so it's 2 problems in one. So I'm going to find the slope between these 2 points, and then I'm going to find the slope between those 2 points. So the formula for slope, wait, I feel like I wrote that down incorrectly. Let me just double check. Negative 5, negative 7, negative 5, 8, 5, 9, and 5, negative 9. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So the formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That'll give me the slope. I have 2 points. Each point is an ordered pair, so I have an xy there and I have an xy there. If I call this point 1, I would put little 1s there, and this is point 2, I would put little 2s there. And that way I can plug it in, just do direct substitutions. So y2 is 8 minus y1 is negative 7 over x2 is negative 5 minus x1 is negative 5. So here I get 15 over negative 5 plus 5 is 0. This is undefined, so I have no slope. When it's undefined, there's no slope. And I'll show you that on a picture so that it makes sense to you visually. So let's say I was going to graph these 2 points. Negative 5, negative 7, let's say is right there. Negative 5, negative 7. Negative 5, 8 would be right there. So if this line connects those two, that's a vertical line, right? Vertical lines, the slope is undefined, so therefore there's no slope. Same thing for this question. I have x, y, first point, second point. So y2 is -9 minus y1 is 9. Over x2 is 5 minus x1 is 5. So I get -18 over 0. Same problem, no slope. So question 24. They give me some information about a line. They say a line passes through the point 8,4 and has a slope of 5/4. Write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So we have a formula that we can use to find the equation of a line, and it looks like this. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The y1 and the x1 have to do with the point that they've given us, and then the slope is m, which they gave us as well. So I'm going to substitute my values in. So y minus y1 is 4 equals 5/4 x minus 8. And from here I'm going to clean it up based off the form they want. They want it in slope-intercept form. What that means is it needs to look like y equals mx plus b. In other words, y needs to be by itself in order to have this form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the 5/4. So I get 5/4 times x is 5/4. 5/4 times -8 is -10. And you can check that, do it by hand, use your calculator or whatever to determine that. So my last step then to get it in slope-intercept form is to add 4 so that I can get y by itself. So I get y equals 5/4 x minus 6. And that's the answer, that's how they want it. Okay, the last question, they give me 3 equations of lines, and they want me to tell them if line 1 and line 2 are perpendicular, parallel, or neither, and then the same for line 2 and line 3, and then line 1 and line 3. So the way to figure this out is first you need to know everybody's slope. How do I find the slope? Well, one of the easiest ways is to get your equations in this format, and then that way the slope is identifiable as the number in front of the x. So in this case, in order to get it to look like that, I would divide everything by 2 to get the y by itself. So I would write it as y equals -3x over 2 plus 7 over 2. Now the nice thing is I don't need to really worry about those fractions. I'm simply identifying what the slope is. So in this case, the slope is the -3/2, right there. So slope equals -3/2. That's what I care about. All right, let me turn this just a little, there you go. Okay, so the second one is a little more difficult. It's in standard form because it has the x's and y's both on the same side. So I'm gonna first subtract 4x from both sides, and I'll get 6y over here equals -4x minus 4. I can't combine those two terms because they're not like terms. But then I can divide everything by 6, and what's my slope? It's this guy, right? Which reduces to -2/3. So my slope is -2/3. Okay, and then the last one is already in slope-intercept form, so they've already got the slope right there, and it is -3/2. Okay, so what do we need to know? If slopes are parallel, then if lines are parallel, I'm sorry, then their slopes will be the same. So line 1 and line 3 have the same slopes, therefore they are parallel. So these two are parallel. in order to be perpendicular, they have to have two opposites going on. So if I wanted the perpendicular of -3/2, I would, well, this is the symbol for perpendicular, I would not only have to do the reciprocal, so I'd have to have 2/3 over here, but I'd also have to change signs. So the perpendicular of -3/2 is a positive 2/3. Well, lines 1 and 2, even though they're reciprocals of each other, they're not opposite signs. So they're not perpendicular. They're also not parallel because they're not the same. So I would say those are neither. And then let's look at lines 2 and 3. Same deal, right? They are reciprocals, but they're not opposite signs. So therefore, they're not the same, they're not parallel, they're not perpendicular, so they're going to be neither as well. And this concludes this video.